We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi emplanes for Laos to attend ASEAN India Summit and East Asia Summit. Hurricane Milton makes landfall in Florida as Category 3 storm. US President warns it could be one of the worst storms in 100 years in Florida. US President Joe Biden holds direct and productive call with Netanyahu. Israel says strikes on Iran will be lethal, precise and surprising. India's iconic industrialist, philanthropist, Tata Sons chairman emeritus Ratan Tata passes away at 86. President leads nation in paying tribute to the legend. Indian men team beat Bangladesh by 86 runs, take 2-0 lead in series, while women's team beat Sri Lanka by 82 runs in T20 World Cup. And on to the top story. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a two-day visit to Vientiane, Lao People's Democratic Republic. Ahead of the departure, Prime Minister issued a statement saying, "Today I am embarking on a two-day visit to Vientiane, Lao PDR at the invitation of Prime Minister Sonsai Sifindon to participate in the 21st ASEAN India and the 19th East Asia Summit. This year we are marking a decade of our Act East policy. I will join the ASEAN leaders to review progress in our comprehensive strategic partnership and chart the future direction of our cooperation. The East Asia Summit will provide an opportunity to deliberate on the challenges to peace, stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. We share close cultural and civilizational ties with the region, including with Lao PDR, which are enriched by shared heritage of Buddhism and Ramayana. I look forward to my meetings with the Lao PDR leadership to further strengthen our bilateral ties. I'm confident that this visit will further deepen our engagement with ASEAN countries." Unquote. Ahead of his departure, Prime Minister issued a statement saying, "Today, I am embarking on a two-day visit to Vientiane, Lao PDR, at the invitation of Prime Minister Sonsai Sifindon to participate in the 21st ASEAN India and 19th East Asia Summit." And for more, we have Meghna Dev joining us from Vientiane. Well, Meghna, Prime Minister coming there today, 10 years of India's Act East policy, and India has been quite vocal about its equations with ASEAN, which are a central pillar of the Act East policy in India's Indo-Pacific vision. What is the significance of this summit, especially if we talk about the timings?
Yes, absolutely, Lipakshi. As you said, the timing matters a lot at the moment, because when we see that first 100 days of the Modi 3.0, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi formed his government for the consecutive third term, we did see, an acceleration in the engagement with the Southeast Asian region. We recently saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Brunei and Singapore visit. We saw the President of India travel to New Zealand, to Fiji, to Timor-Leste. So we definitely do see that the engagement has grown. The engagement has become even more steady. Besides that, not only the outgoing visits, but the incoming visits by the Malaysian leadership or the Vietnamese leadership also speaks volumes of how reciprocative the relationship has become, or the cooperation has become. And not only that, now we are exploring new areas of cooperation. Now what we are seeing is, the semiconductor sector with Singapore. We are talking more about how to enhance tourism. We are talking about how to enhance bilateral trade, not and having said that, what we also see is that the cultural cooperation is something that is, that has historical linkages, and that is being also continued in the present, and it will be continued in the near future. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving in Vientiane. I'm currently present at the place where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving. We have been meeting a few people from the diaspora. They have already started arriving, more than, 3-4 of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival here. While the size of the diaspora is quite small, but it is significant. Most of them are entrepreneurs. Many, entrepreneurs. Most of them are working here. We also do see that, Buddhism and Ramayana, both of these aspects, bring the Southeast Asian region and India closer. And when we specifically talk about Lao PDR, a number of monks are studying in Nalanda University under the ICCR scholarship. What we also see is that Ramayana is something that is performed on auspicious occasions, on New Year. So we have historical linkages. The Archaeological Survey of India is restoring the Wat Phu temple complex in Lao PDR in the Champasak province. So there is a lot of engagement, not only bilaterally, but there's a lot of engagement going on in the aspect of the soft power. Having said all of that, India's role as the first responder in providing humanitarian assistance. We recently saw the Typhoon Yagi and how India did provide humanitarian assistance to Myanmar, Vietnam, and Lao PDR. These aspects become, strengthen the pillar of cooperation between us and the Southeast Asian region. So there is a lot that is going to be talked about today. And obviously the important agendas on the table will be development cooperation and much more. We can also see some new areas of cooperation coming up on the table.
Right, Meghna, as you said, we have huge historical linkages, but the two summits, ASEAN and East Asia, are the main union for India's engagement with that part of the globe and with New Delhi's role as an important player and leader of the global South now. How do you see this as a big opportunity for India to consolidate its position in ASEAN?
When we actually see, both of these forums, we definitely see it is a part of our engagement with a wider. Now, we also talk about how, not only on these forums like the East Asia Summit or the ASEAN-India Summit, we also do have mini-lateral cooperations, as we can say, like the Mekong-Ganga cooperation and other places where we are talking about connectivity, we are talking about trade, we are talking about exports, imports. We are also talking about digital public infrastructure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi last time gave a 12-pointer, proposal of what should be done, within the framework. So we are seeing this time around when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is here, this is going to be his 10th ASEAN-India Summit and the East Asia Summit as well. What we will see that there will be a review in terms of what has been done so far and what more can be done in the near future is something that will be definitely seen. Obviously, we will also see the situation in Myanmar might, come up in the talks. We will also see the, connectivity projects also come up in the talks. We will see, more about digital public infrastructure. We will also be seeing about how to enhance tourism, direct flight connectivity, and, these aspects also coming up, in the discussions between the leaders. Having said that, obviously, the Indo-Pacific, the vision of the Indo-Pacific, the ASEAN centrality that India attaches with its vision of the Indo-Pacific is something that holds, that is something that India values significantly. That's one of the reasons, if I go back to last year, we saw that just 48 hours ahead or, before the G20 summit in New Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made sure that he reaches Indonesia, he goes to Jakarta for the ASEAN-India Summit and the East Asia Summit. So it literally shows how much of importance we do attach to the region. And this time around, it will be important to see with the 100 days of the Modi government having so much focus on the Southeast Asian region. What's more in store is something that we are looking forward to.
All right, Meghna, thank you so much for all those details from Lao. And moving on, Lao ASEAN, a unique edition of perfume by an Indian origin entrepreneur, Soktavi Chaudhary, is being given to delegates and VVIPs at the ASEAN Summit. Chaudhary has developed this perfume under the motto Product of Lao and Gift of ASEAN. He also will be gifting it to Prime Minister Modi during his visit to Laos. Indian origin entrepreneur Chaudhary established a first-of-its-kind perfume factory in Laos in 2014 and is currently exporting its fragrances to the Gulf countries, China and Korea. Chaudhary says that the upcoming visit of Prime Minister is a proud moment for him and the diaspora is eagerly waiting for his arrival.
The Indian community in Vientiane is excited to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Lao PDR, and we are joined in by first-generation entrepreneur Mr. Chaudhary, who is the owner of a perfume brand in Vientiane in Lao PDR, and he will be presenting a very significant perfume to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What do you have to say? What is special about this? Where's the idea come from?
This is a Lao Asian perfume. We make it from the product of Lao, gift from ASEAN. And this is the chair of 2024 in the Laos, chair of in the ASEAN. And not very easy to make this perfume because not only Laos, because if the other Asian 10 country also, I keep it always in my brain. That also one kind of challenging for me. But finally I make it. This is the Lao Asian perfume.
Has there been any Indian influences in the fragrances that you create?
Yes, yes, of course, some Indian influences is here. From some is coming from Manipur, Nagaland. Some oil I put it here also. And yes, this is last time 2006, 2007. I go with the Deputy Prime Minister and other minister together in Dubai. Then when we go to Dubai, we visited so many perfume shop. Then that time is our Prime Minister said, Deputy Prime Minister, why not making the made in Laos perfume? Then I have promised to him. I promised to okay, one day I will make the made in Laos perfume.
You're also known to create a perfume from the traditional, or we can say a special Lao flower. What is that?
Yes, special Lao flower is the Dok Champa. Dok Champa is the national flower in the Laos. When they have the Basi ceremony, welcoming, or you have to go they have the festival, the water festival. That time is that flower is coming. This is the national flower.
What is the excitement to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi here in Vientiane?
Yeah, of course, I'm very exciting to meet him because all our community also waiting for meet him. He's is the leader who is the ASEAN leader in the all over world leader in the Narendra Modi ji. Of course, we are very much exciting. Especially for myself, I'm very exciting to meet him.
Here we see that the excitement is there in the diaspora, and not only that, the entrepreneurs, Indian origin entrepreneurs, are growing significantly in Laos. What we also definitely see is that in a small community, the small Indian community that resides in Lao PDR has got a very significant contribution to contribute to the country of Lao PDR. With camera person Mohit Joshi, this is Meghna Dev, 4DD India from Vientiane.
And India and Lao PDR share historical and civilizational linkages reflecting Buddhism and Ramayana connect. DD India's Meghna Dev reports for more.
India and Lao People's Democratic Republic have historical and civilizational links reflected in the common heritage of Buddhism and Ramayana. Lao PDR recently issued a postage stamp featuring Sri Ram Lalla of Ayodhya, making it the first country in the world to issue a stamp depicting the revered deity.
Ramayana is a special theme generally for performances of theatre in the ASEAN countries, and it is considered a shared heritage of the Eastern world. Ramayana is also popularly known as Fralak Fraram, or also known as Ramakien in the Southeast Asian region, and it is performed on auspicious occasions like the New Year or major festivals, when we actually see that most of the action of this epic is based alongside the Mekong River, which is the Southeast Asian mainland and is somewhat what Ganga means to India.
Buddhism is another aspect that traces our deep civilizational linkages. Many monks from Laos still go to Bodh Gaya to study. Monk Solidet Duangchansia, monk from Lao PDR, is pursuing Buddhist studies at the Nalanda University under a scholarship provided by the ICCR.
My name is Monk Solidet Duangchansi. I am Buddhist monk from Laos PDR. Now I am studying at Nalanda University under ICCR scholarship. This scholarship provided by Government of India. India and Laos PDR have a close civilizational ties reflected in common heritage of Buddhism. These ties have been given an impetus to increasing dynamic promotion of Buddhist thinkers and our common heritage, which includes the exchange of Buddhist scholars from different parts of the country.
The Ramayana, popular throughout South and Southeast Asia, was first brought to the ancient Lao kingdom of Lane Sang centuries ago, reportedly by Buddhist missions. The historical connections between India and Laos continue to influence their modern close relationship. Today, this shared heritage is reflected in ongoing cultural and a robust development partnership cooperation. Meghna De's report for DD India.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. During a podcast, Donald Trump praises Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a good friend and the nicest human being. Indian Navy leads the charge in Quad naval exercises to secure the Indo-Pacific. And we explore the link between spirituality and mental health on World Mental Health Day. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on. Donald Trump has showered Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with admiration, hailing him as a good friend and the nicest human being. Speaking during a podcast interview recently released, former US President said that PM Modi is a total killer with the nation's adversaries. He added that PM Modi turned down offers of help when India faced threats. Explaining the assessment, he said, "We had a couple of occasions where somebody was threatening India. I said, let me help. I'm very good with those people, let me help." But PM Modi turned down the offer saying, I will do it, and I will do anything necessary. We have defeated them for hundreds of years, Trump said. Trump said there were two major confrontations that involved China and Pakistan during his rule, both of which did not escalate. With Pakistan, it was the Pulwama terrorist attack of 2019, and with China, it was Galwan clash of 2020. The Republican presidential candidate said that at a personal level, with PM Modi, we have a very good relationship. He is the nicest human being. On being asked if world leaders were all sharks, Trump said not all of them, but gave the example of PM Modi as one of the tough leaders. Trump said that till PM Modi became Prime Minister, there was instability in India. Finally, Trump fondly recalled his participation in Howdy Modi event in Houston in 2020, saying it was me and him. We filled up the stadium, was beautiful, like 80,000 people was going crazy. And for more, we have Akshay Dongre joining us from Delhi. Well, Akshay, what do we make out of Trump's statements as he praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi on both the fronts as a leader handling crisis, and on the other hand, he spoke about his personal equation with him also?
Well, Lipakshi, absolutely. Some nice statements coming in from Donald Trump, and these are the statements, not these statements that he's making right now, but he's remembering the time when he was the president of the United States of America and his interactions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his tenure. In fact, as one of the most important world leader, and how his perception of Prime Minister Narendra Modi was back then as well, and what it is right now. A lot of important aspects of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign policies have been shared by Donald Trump from the view of a world leader as important as the United States president, where he says that President Narendra Modi not only is a good human being but has also been a tough leader, has provided stability to the country, and has not been a leader that would step back from handling a crisis like the hints that he has given towards the Pulwama crisis, during which President Narendra Modi gave all out as far as taking action against Pakistan and terrorists who that were operating from the territory are concerned. So yes, clearly these are some statements that have been made regarding President Narendra Modi. Donald Trump was the president back then. Now he's again the candidate for presidency, and we have to see that the kind of rapport that Prime Minister Modi has built with the world leaders. Not only it is on a personal level, but also helps a long way in understanding. How diplomacy works and how the world leaders see Indian leader as not only a leader that is providing stability to the country, but also is a robust and a good human being as well. Generally hinting
Right.
towards a tendency where world leaders only talk about their own countries or talk about their own selfish interests. President Narendra Modi has set an example of being a good leader, not only for the country, but like he has always spoken for the world peace, a good human being as well.
Right, Akshay. Also, is there any reading between the lines? As he said very categorically, we have a very good relationship.
Well, it's out there in the open, Lipakshi. I don't think so. There would be much reading between the lines as to what exactly he meant. A good relations obviously were showcased in the Howdy Modi event that was held in the United States
Yes.
of America, where both the leaders shared a stage in front of 80,000 people. Though the two leaders do maintain a good relation, it is seldom where a former United States president talks so gladly about a world leader on a personal level as well. So diplomacy aside, this is also a kind of rapport that PM Modi has built with the friendly nations. And it not only helps in India's own national security, but also helps in its economy by bringing in more investments, by creating favorable environments across the world, and that has in fact been one of the key reasons behind how India has been progressing so rapidly in every sphere in the last 10 years.
All right, Akshay, thank you so much for those details. And former chairperson of the Tata Group, Ratan Tata, is no more. He died at the age of 86 in Mumbai's Breach Candy Hospital on Wednesday, where he was admitted for the past few days due to age-related issues. His contributions to nation building shall never be forgotten. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us this report.
India lost a visionary business leader with the passing of Ratan Tata, a stalwart of the Tata Group. He served as chairman, elevating the Indian conglomerate to the global stage through a series of high-profile acquisitions. His career began in 1962 after he returned to India with an architecture degree from Cornell University. He held various positions within the conglomerate, including at Tata Motors and Tata Steel, before taking over as chairman from J.R.D. Tata in 1991, coinciding with India's economic reform and globalization. As chairman, Ratan Tata implemented significant changes, including enforcing retirement ages and promoting younger talent to senior roles. Under his leadership, the Tata Group acquired companies such as Tetley, Chorus, and luxury auto brands Jaguar and Land Rover. He also championed innovative projects like the Indica and the Nano at Tata Motors. After stepping down from active role, Ratan Tata became a prominent investor in Indian startups, supporting a wide range of companies. He received numerous global and national honors, including the Padma Bhushan in 2000 and the Padma Vibhushan in 2008. His legacy of elevating the Tata Group, philanthropy, and commitment to social causes will inspire generations to come. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DV India.
And President of India, Draupadi Murmu, condoled the demise of business icon Ratan Tata. In a post on X, she wrote, and I quote, "In the sad demise of Sri Ratan Tata, India has lost an icon who blended corporate growth with nation building and excellence with ethics. A recipient of Padma Vibhushan and Padma Bhushan, he took forward the great Tata legacy and gave it a more impressive global presence. He inspired seasoned professionals and young students alike. His contribution to philanthropy and charity is invaluable. I convey my condolences to his family, the entire team of the Tata Group and his admirers across the globe," unquote. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also condoled the demise of Ratan Tata. He wrote on X, and I quote, "Deeply pained by the passing away of Sri Ratan Tata ji, a towering figure of Indian industry whose contributions towards building a self-reliant Bharat will forever be an inspiration to entrepreneurs in India and beyond. A man of deep commitment and compassion, his philanthropic contributions and the humility he embodied aptly reflect the ethos he embraced. As the legend of Indian industry leaves behind a lasting legacy, Bharat would miss him very dearly. I extend my heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, admirers, and to the entire Tata Group in this hour of grief. Om Shanti," unquote. Also, in a series of posts on X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called Ratan Tata a visionary business leader, a compassionate soul and an extraordinary human being. He hailed Ratan Tata's most unique aspect of his passion towards dreaming big and giving back. Recalling his interactions with Tata, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "I would meet him frequently in Gujarat when I was the CM. We would exchange views on diverse issues. I found his perspectives very enriching. These interactions continued when I came to Delhi. Extremely pained by his passing away. My thoughts are with his family, friends and admirers in this sad hour. Om Shanti," unquote. Meanwhile, a day of mourning will be observed in the state today in honor of Ratan Tata. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde said this will be a state funeral as a tribute to the departed soul. During the period of mourning, national flags at government offices in the state will be lowered to half-mast and no entertainment programs will be held. Last rites of Ratan Tata will be done with the state honours. And we have Shama Mishra joining us from Mumbai on this. Well, Shama, a big loss for the nation as we lose a shining beacon of India's entrepreneurial spirit and a great philanthropist. Maharashtra government has also declared a day of mourning.
Well, yes, Lepakshi, today's day is going to be a day of mourning because yesterday the entire world has lost one of its gems, and we understand that as much as Ratan Tata had contributed to the industries, he had also contributed to the society. So this is going to be a huge loss to not just the society but the corporates as well. So a day of mourning has been announced today. No entertainment would be happening, and also the flags would be fluttered on half-mast. Apart from that, the mortal remains of Ratan Tata, he was there at Bridge Candy. He was admitted at Bridge Candy since October 7th. And yesterday, late night, when this news came in that Ratan Tata is no more, a host of dignitaries, a host of people visited him there. And this includes Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, also Mukesh Ambani, industrialist. They have all visited him there. Later at night, in the middle of the night, the mortal remains were taken to his home at Kolaba, and it has been kept there. It has also been told that around 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the mortal remains of Ratan Tata will be kept at NCPA for everybody to have their last visit, to pay their last respects. So a lot of industrialists, people from the entertainment world, people from the political world, they are expected to come and pay their respects. So somewhere before 10 o'clock, his mortal remains would be carried from his home to NCPA. NCPA is also at Narayan Point. So not a large distance, but yes, police is creating, it has been told that police will be creating a green corridor for Ratan Tata's mortal remains to be, reached there. And after 4 4 o'clock with state honors. The last rites would be conducted on Ratan Tata.
All right, Shramas, thank you so much for all those details. And moving on, the latest iteration of the Malabar Maritime Exercise Series, Malabar 2024, launched at Visakhapatnam on October 8th. This significant military event, co-hosted by India and the Eastern Naval Command, brings together the navies of the Quad, Australia, Japan, the United States and India for 10 days of advanced maritime training and strategic dialogue. As India steps up as the host this year, the exercise reflects the evolving security dynamics of the Indo-Pacific region. Malabar, which was initiated in 1992 as a bilateral exercise between India and the US, gained further traction as a significant maritime engagement with Japan and Australia joining in subsequently. And October 10th is being observed as the World Mental Health Day to encourage global mental health education, awareness and advocacy against social stigma. The theme this year is "It's the time to prioritize mental health in the workplace." We get you our next report as we explore how mental health is integral to an individual's overall health.
Managing emotions is more than just a personal skill. It is a crucial factor for affecting millions of lives worldwide. Every day, people silently battle mental health issues, and the ripple effects touch not only them but also their families, friends, and communities. Despite the growing awareness, a staggering number of those suffering from mental illness still shy away from treatment. October 10th is observed as the World Mental Health Day. The theme this year is "It is time to prioritize mental health in the workplace," and it underscores the growing need for mental health support in professional environment. According to the World Health Organization, many avoid seeking help due to fear of judgment and lack of social acceptance. They may hesitate for the fear that seeking help is a sign of weakness. However, the consequences of this hesitation can be devastating. If left untreated, the mental health issues can quickly spiral into serious concerns. What many don't realize is that mental illness can affect a person in countless ways. The symptoms are diverse and the experience is deeply personal. Anxiety disorders, ADHD, eating disorders, schizophrenia spectrum, post-traumatic stress disorder are some of the concerns, to name a few. While some may experience persistent feelings of sadness or anxiety, others may struggle with mood swings, lack of focus. It can affect anyone regardless of background, age, or status. Mental illness does not discriminate. But mental health issues are treatable. With the right intervention, care and support, individuals struggling with mental health can and do recover. Staying mentally and emotionally healthy is the key to not just surviving, but also thriving. The path to healing starts with a conversation. If you or someone you know is struggling, don't hesitate to talk about it. Seek support, share your feelings, and when necessary, consult a medical health professional. Mental health matters. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Remember, early treatment can lead to complete recovery, but ignoring it can only make things worse. Let's break the stigma together, because everyone deserves a chance to live a mentally and emotionally healthy life. With Harshita Piroy, Preeti Kaur's report, DD India.
On time now for a short break. Keep watching DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, Hurricane Milton has made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida as a dangerous Category 3 storm. It is the fifth hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. this year. Milton made landfall in Florida just weeks after Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 storm in a state already battered by Helene 2 weeks ago. As many as 2 million people have been ordered to evacuate and millions more live in the projected path of the storm. According to the National Weather Service, Milton is bringing an axis of extreme rainfall to the Tampa Bay area, increasing the risk of deadly flash flooding. The storm could become one of the most destructive on record for Florida's Gulf Coast. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis delivered an evening press briefing warning residents to shelter in place now that Milton has arrived on the state's coastline. Well, JP Das, an Indian resident living in US's Tampa, spoke to DD India from the Hurricane Milton site. Take a listen.
The landfall of the monster of a Hurricane Milton happened about an hour ago. Fortunately, we are in Zone D of Tampa and we are not under evacuation notice. Zone A and B of Tampa are under evacuation notice. Friends who live in the waterfront near the rivers and the sea have evacuated and have reported falling trees and flooding water. Fortunately, as of now, we don't have flooding in our area, but you can see the strong wind and the heavy rain lashing through the streets. Gradually you can see water flooding the streets, and it is reported that the storm surge of 10 feet plus will happen through the night and the morning tomorrow. Fortunately, we have electricity. If we have electricity through the night, we should be okay. If electricity goes off, we might face problems. Hopefully, things will be okay.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden urged Floridians to take shelter and prepare for Hurricane Milton's destructive impact, emphasizing the need for immediate safety measures for those unable to evacuate.
Former President Trump has led this onslaught of lies. Assertions have been made that property is being confiscated. It's simply not true. They're saying people impacted by these storms will receive $750 in cash and no more. That is simply not true either. They're saying the money needed for these crises are being diverted to migrants. What the heck are they talking about? Stop it. It's outrageous. It's just not true.
Well, United States President Joe Biden has reaffirmed his ironclad support for Israel during a phone call when Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The call between the two leaders on Wednesday lasted 30 minutes and was their first publicly announced conversation since August amid an escalation of violence in Gaza and Lebanon. Vice President Kamala Harris also joined the call. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre earlier had described the talks as direct and productive. Talks also included discussions on a potential attack on Iran. The U.S. is working to get Americans out of Lebanon ahead of a potential Israeli attack. White House press spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre said the U.S. Embassy in Beirut remains open and the U.S. will continue to make airplanes available as long as the Beirut airport remains open.
As long as the Beirut airport remains open, we will continue to make more airplane seats available daily. To date, the number of seats available continues to exceed demand. The U.S. Embassy in Beirut remains open and can help Americans who need emergency passports or other documentation. We urge Americans to take advantage of these options. Ultimately, a diplomatic resolution is the only way to achieve lasting stability and security across the Israel-Lebanon border.
Meanwhile, Israel's defense minister warned on Wednesday that his country's retaliation for a recent Iranian missile attack will be lethal and surprising. Iran fired dozens of missiles at Israel on October 1st in an escalation of the conflict between the two countries.
Now you have seen the attacks that the Iranians attacked us a short while ago. These attacks were aggressive, but they failed because they weren't accurate attacks. Just as we have been doing until now in the war on all other fronts, whoever attacks us will be hurt and will pay a price. Our attack will be deadly, precise, and above all, surprising. They will not understand what happened and how it happened. They will see the results.
And for more, we have Amit Mukherjee joining us on this. Well, Amit, good morning. Israel yesterday again warned of an attack on Iran, which would be lethal and surprising. What do we make out of this?
Well, Lipakshi, if you ask me, the situation out there is not only tense and very, very chaotic, but there's a lot of confusion, particularly because of the kind of statements which are coming from those who are involved in the conflict. Now, if you look at Hezbollah, the Hezbollah deputy chief, in fact, the person who is kind of calling the shots right now, Naeem Qasim, in a televised interview, he said, not an interview, it was a televised message. He said that Hezbollah is absolutely prepared, the entire organization is intact, and they're going to continue raining rockets on Israel. But at the same time, he also lauded the ceasefire attempts that is being kind of put forward by the Lebanese administration. So these are two very, very contradictory things. One, they're saying that their organization is absolutely intact. They're going to continue with the attack on Israel. They have enough arms and ammunition to kind of back this kind of a statement which he has made. But at the same time, they're talking about sort of a ceasefire, which the Lebanese government has always been asking for. Now, on the other hand, if you look at Israel, they have not really kind of responded to the attack which Iran had mounted on it post 27th September after Israel eliminated the Hezbollah chief Nasrallah. Now, if you look at the kind of attack that was mounted by Iran on Israel, is that not only there was large-scale destruction, in fact, the largest airport, the airbase, Nevatim airbase of Israel was attacked. And apparently unconfirmed report says that about 20 F-35 aircrafts were also kind of destroyed in that. Apart from that, there are drones attacks, those kamikaze drones that has been launched over Israel, by all these, not only Iran and supported, the Iran supported all these, proxies. They are continuing their actions on Israel. So Israel at the same time, while it's focusing its attack on Hezbollah and primarily it's the Hezbollah leadership, if you look at the kind of pattern which is there, Hezbollah's leadership is not is the prime target right now. Although constantly all those all those bases of Hezbollah is being attacked, but the prime target is the leadership. Israel at this point in time doesn't want Hezbollah to name a leader after Nasrallah was eliminated. If you look 2 days back, Israel came out with a statement that Hashim Safadia, who was supposedly to take over Nasrallah's booth and get into Nasrallah's booth, he has also been eliminated. Even Suhail Hashmi, he is also the guy that a senior commander has been eliminated. So there's no end to this right now. Very confusing statements coming from all those involved.
Right. Also, Amit, if you talk about the UN Security Council, it's very clearly said that Israel needs to urgently address catastrophic conditions, including getting aid among the Palestinian civilians, which is the most important. Can we see any go-ahead there?
Well, Lipakshi, it would be purely speculation, but looking at the past events, UN has always been maintaining that there should be a ceasefire. Humanitarian crisis to the tune of Gaza should also be avoided in Lebanon. But in fact, all the sides who are involved in this conflict right now, they are putting no stop to their actions. So at this point of time, with Hezbollah firing rockets into Iran, into Israel constantly mounting attacks on Hezbollah, both in terms of airstrikes and as well as ground invasion in Lebanon, doesn't really seem. And again, the most important thing is that Israel is yet to retaliate to the offense which was launched by Iran after October 27th, when almost about 180 rounds, ballistic missiles were actually fired into Israel. So all these things are still unaddressed by all these sides, and they are continuing with their assault on each other. A ceasefire, unless and until it's a very substantial thing, even though UN has been asking for it, I don't think it is anywhere in the near future right now. Lipakshi?
All right. Thank you, Amit, so much for all those details. And moving on, as countdown of presidential polls in USA has started, Republicans and Democrats are all out and open to denounce the other. On Wednesday, there was a huge spar between U.S. President Joe Biden and the former U.S. President Donald Trump. The Republican candidate Donald Trump was holding a rally in Pennsylvania on Wednesday. While addressing the rally, he claimed himself as savior of democracy in America.
Yesterday, Tim said they want to abolish the Electoral College, taking away all electoral power basically from the voters of places like Pennsylvania. Tim and Comrade Kamala are really a true threat. They are a true threat to democracy. I'm not a threat to democracy. I'm the one that's going to save democracy. I'm the one that's going to save it.
Well, the former U.S. president also accused Kamala Harris for not handling the rescue operation after different hurricanes that affected many parts of the USA.
You know what's more important about her? I don't like her. You know what's more important about her? She's just led the worst rescue operation in history in North Carolina. The worst. And we have another big one coming in, but the worst, the one in North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Virginia, pieces of Florida got hit. I mean, it's incredible. The worst ever, they say. They had no money. You know where they gave the money? To illegal immigrants coming in, many of whom are killers, many of whom are drug dealers, many of whom are gang members, and many of whom came out of prisons from all over the world.
Well, strong rebuttal came from U.S. President Joe Biden. He made a special statement on how his government was running the rescue operations. He accused Trump of spreading lies.
President Trump has led this onslaught of lies. Assertions have been made that property is being confiscated. It's simply not true. They're saying people impacted by these storms will receive $750 in cash and no more. That is simply not true either. They're saying the money needed for these crises are being diverted to migrants. What the heck are they talking about? Stop it. It's outrageous. It's just not true.
Also, the Democratic candidate Kamala Harris got a shot in arms on Wednesday as Oscar-winning actor Julia Roberts came to state to campaign for Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris in her home state of Georgia. Georgia is one of 7 states likely to determine the contest between Harris and her Republican opponent, Donald Trump.
I believe in Georgia. I wouldn't have come home if I didn't believe that we can accomplish really beautiful goals that will extend beyond our state's borders.
And on to some business news now. Wall Street's 3 main stock indexes closed higher on Wednesday as investors digested Federal Reserve meeting minutes ahead of September inflation data and earnings report. The market is awaiting the Consumer Price Index inflation report due on Thursday and the third quarter corporate earnings season, which kicks off in earnest with some of the biggest U.S. banks reporting on Friday. Trading has been choppy this week, with investors adjusting rate cut expectations after a surprisingly strong September jobs report suggested a U.S. economy that is in better shape than investors had feared. Meanwhile, shares in market heavyweight Alphabet fell after the U.S. Department of Justice said it may ask a judge to force Google to divest parts of its business to end its search monopoly. These include its Chrome web browser and its Android operating system. U.S. District Judge James Donato in San Francisco on Monday ordered Google to overhaul parts of its Android app business. For 3 years, beginning in November, Google, under the order, must allow Android users to download rival app platforms and use competing in-apps payment methods, and it cannot pay device makers to pre-install its app store Play. Google said it will appeal an underlying jury verdict in the case and challenge the court-ordered changes. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. Indian men's cricket team beat Bangladesh by 86 runs to take an unassailable 2-0 lead in the series on Wednesday. This is India's biggest ever win over Bangladesh in terms of runs. They surpassed their previous best of 50-run victory that came in North Sound in 2024 T20 World Cup. Batting first, India scored 221 for 9 in 20 overs. A sensational 108-run partnership of 48 balls between Nitish Reddy and Rinku Singh was the highlight of India's innings. The side lost 3 wickets in the power play, but Rinku and Nitish joined hands to give the Bangladesh bowlers a nightmare. Nitish hit 34 balls 74, while Rinku slammed 53 of 29 balls. In the second innings also, India restricted Bangladesh to 135 for 9. Nitish Reddy and Varun Chakravarti took 2 wickets each. And India registered their biggest ever margin of victory in Women's T20 World Cup history, beating Sri Lanka by 82 runs in their third game of the 2024 edition. The win also helps them go above Pakistan and New Zealand in Group A, as well as cross New Zealand's net run rate. Batting first, India put up a daunting score of 172 thanks to half-centuries by star batters Harmanpreet Kaur and Smriti Mandhana. With the ball, India got off to an electric start, leaving Sri Lanka at 6 for 3 and ultimately bowling them out for 90. India will next face defending champions Australia on Sunday. And Joe Root scored a majestic unbeaten century after surpassing Alastair Cook as England's top run scorer in Test cricket to guide the team to 492 for 3 at stumps on the third day of the opening match against Pakistan. Root eclipsed Cook's tally of 12,472. He then fought off cramps after lunch to bring up his 35th century. He cruised to 176 not out at the close, with England trailing by 64 runs. Harry Brook was batting on 141, a fine knock that followed Ben Duckett's quick-fire 84 earlier. Pakistan's bowlers were unable to extract any help from the flat pitch. An Indian women team won a historic bronze medal at the ASEAN Asian Table Tennis Championships in Astana in capital Kazakhstan. It is the first ever medal in women's team event for India since ASEAN Table Tennis Union started conducting the competition in 1972. India lost 1-3 to Japan in the semi-finals, while China defeated Hong Kong 3-0 in the other semi-final. Both losing semi-finalists are awarded bronze medals. India had defeated South Korea 3-2 in the nail-biting quarter-final on Tuesday to confirm the medal. And Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayanaswamy, commonly known as R.K. Narayan, was one of the finest authors of Indian writing in English. India is remembering R.K. Narayan on his 118th birth anniversary today. Take a look.
October 10, 2024 marks the 118th birth anniversary of R.K. Narayan. Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayanaswamy, commonly known as R.K. Narayan, was one of the greatest writers of English literature. This Indian writer was globally known for his fictional writings. Born in 1906 in a family of Tamil Brahmins, R.K. Narayan was the second eldest son in a family of 8 children. His rich tapestry of fictional, non-fictional and mythological works resonates with readers around the globe. He started teaching in a school but soon decided to quit his job to pursue a full-time career in writing. Throughout his lifetime, Narayan authored 34 novels, beginning with Swami and Friends, a captivating tale that follows the adventures of a group of schoolchildren. His narratives are set in a fictional village of Malgudi in South India, a vibrant backdrop that later inspired the beloved television series Malgudi Days, which aired on DD National. This show became a cherished favorite, resonating with audiences and leaving a lasting impression that many still recall fondly today. He was also nominated as a member of the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of Indian Parliament, in 1980 for his extraordinary contributions to literature. His legendary writing career came to an end with his final book, Grandmother's Tale, in 1992. R.K. Narayan masterfully captured the contradictions and ironies of Indian rural and urban life in his works, vividly illustrating the tensions between modern urbanity and age-old traditions. His unwavering dedication to writing defined his life, and he continued to craft his narratives with remarkable skill and insight until his final days. R.K. Narayan's legacy in Indian English literature is immensely impactful, shaping the trajectory of Indian writing in English and inspiring countless generations of authors. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.